What you're about to see is how these people and their music survived for more than 50 years. Of course, some music can be boring.
Amazing, but that song was boring me to death, so I had to come up, man. That's long.
But don't be surprised if you can still hear them 50 years from now. There's this common experience of people expressing themselves differently in church. And there are two extremes to this. The first extreme are those that sing and clap their hands only without instrument. While the other extreme are those that have too many instruments. In this video, we will carefully observe both extremes and suggest a mechanism for balance. All other churches we know fall between those two extremes. Among them are churches that don't use drum at all. They use specific instruments like piano, wind, or string instruments. Most churches use what I call the basic three, which are set drum, piano, and the guitar. Not all instruments are good accompaniment in a worship service. And in fact, some particular instruments are not allowed in some congregations. Most of you may argue that your church is not against any instrument. But wait until someone brings something really funny, like this one. I really don't know if I can survive for long under some kind of music. Yet I've seen people build their whole life under this kind of music. I've seen their love, I've seen their passion. I know many young people may consider these songs boring and joyless. Yet, they have stood the test of time, even than some of our recent Christian contemporary music. The two major influences of music in church today are church leaders and secular culture. But we should remember that our guide for church practices should be scripture alone, not church doctrine or adapted to secular culture. Also, while the New Testament doesn't provide examples of churches using instruments, it also doesn't explicitly forbid them. Therefore, we should be cautious about imposing requirements that scripture doesn't mandate, or prohibiting what it doesn't forbid. What does the Bible have to say about this matter? In the Old Testament, various instruments are mentioned in multiple passages. For instance, Psalm 81 references the timbrel, trumpet, and harp, while Psalm 150 encourages praise with a dance, string instrument, and organs. Also, King David commands the Levite leaders to pray joyful psalms using musical instruments like lyres, harps, and cymbals. Interestingly, the New Testament doesn't mention music in worship. And most people argue that the examples from the Old Testament doesn't establish practices for the New Testament church. They believe that the only instrument that should be used should be the human voice, since our bodies are considered the temples of the Holy Spirit. Really? As a musician, I appreciate the full band sound and the diversity of melodies and harmonies that God has blessed us with. For those firm in the faith, being banned in worship should not pose a problem. The problem for some, however, is that the excitement of worship can become the passion rather than the purpose of worship. Music is so powerful, and it's easy for someone to get overtaken by its feelings. This is exactly the problem with churches with too many instruments. While their music can feel so impressive, people get carried away or drawn into its movement based on feelings. It's obviously not like that for everyone, but guaranteed it is for some. So this music gets to live past 50 years because Christian music is not all about the hype, the enjoyment, the jumping up and down. Don't get me wrong, they're part of it. But Christian music is a faith-based art, which continues to inspire generation, past, present, and future. To conclude, the Bible never commands nor forbids the use of musical instruments into this church. Therefore, every churches have the freedom to worship as they see fit. But you may have to change your style of music to attract the audience you are sent to. Ultimately, whatever method of worship is chosen, it should be done to the glory of God. Please feel free to leave your thoughts and comments below. Until next time, take care and God bless you.